Good evening. Guys, Happy New Year, isn't it? Feels like it's gone on forever already. Welcome to Wedmore Parish Council's meeting on Wednesday, the 20th of January, 2021. Hope you're all well and nice to see you. Thanks for coming along. Item number 1 on the agenda is to receive any apologies for absence.
I have no apologies, Chair.
Super duper. Item number 2, reports from county and district councillors. Over to you, David.
Hi, Chairman. Yes, Happy New Year. I'm sure we've spoken since then, but there we are. Just a bit of an update from county then. I'm not sure. Well, I last reported before Christmas. I can tell you that we've now got nearly 700 members of staff seconded to the vaccination squad, as it were. We're making very good progress. We've pretty much vaccinated, I think, nearly 10% of the population of the county so far. So it's all going very well. And next week, an unnamed large facility will open up for COVID vaccinations near Shepton Mallet, which for some bizarre reason everybody knows about, but nobody can actually tell you what it is. But I can tell you that it's not Glastonbury Festival Ground. So that will give you a clue. It's a large site near Shepton Mallet. And the Taunton Racecourse one is currently getting through about 900 people a day. So it's coming on a pace, which is pretty good news. I suppose my point for making out, for telling you that we've got 700 members of staff not doing their day job or doing their day job on a part-time basis is that things might not be quite as speedy to respond to a county than it is normally. Some wags amongst you will think that the county council doesn't move very quickly anyway, so you may not notice a difference, but I'm just forewarning you. The only other piece of Wedmore news, and we've all had emails backwards and forwards about the Blackford speeding issue. The only thing I think I should report to you, unless you've already had this feedback from Mark Parish Council, is that I have a feeling that Mark Parish Council are rather keen to protect their end of Blackford. And to that end, I think they seem to be thinking that they might wish to commit. They've managed to get £20,000 from the pylon people to help with some minor road schemes, and I think they're going to, not Mark on their own, but Mark and a couple of other parishes that way, have decided to invest, I think, in 4 SIDs. So there might be a possibility of them deploying a SID down there. But I would just bear that in mind. I did sort of tentatively suggest, I think I did to them in the best possible taste, that maybe they'd like you to sort out the whole of Blackford. But I just had a feeling, that that didn't go down too well as a suggestion. So. Okay,
well, fine. If they want to get involved, then that's great, because...
Well, I was trying not to muddy the waters, but I suppose, it's all more the merrier, really. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't tend to go to their meetings just because I find them not very proactive, and they say no to everything. They're a bit funny, and they don't like the district councillors anyway, though. But yes, if they want to get involved, super. I just guess maybe Alistair will liaise, whatever. Has anyone got any questions for David? Right. Oh, Jackie, there's a hand up. Jackie, and then Sue Worrell.
And then Ellie at the bottom by the looks of it.
Yeah. Sorry, that was me. I haven't changed it from my daughter.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
Were the new road signs at Latcham to do with you, or was that our responsibility? I can't remember, Polly.
Rod's reported it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. Well, if it's a name plate, it's the district council. But if it's a rondel or a speed sign, it's the county councils. Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the case for that.
Okay.
Sue, your hand went up quickly.
Yeah. Just to ask David, and I can't quite remember with regards to coming into Blackford from Mark, whether the highways was going to get on with something anyway. They were going to put.
Yeah, we were going to. We promised before Catherine Tyson left us. We promised that we would refurbish the signs and enhance them. So we're definitely going to do that, and that also involves, I think, refurbishing the markings on the road. So, you know, we're going to titillate that because that's something that we can do during this pandemic. We can't really do an awful lot else.
Yeah, would it be like putting slow and rumble strips on?
Well,
like
I can't remember if you had rumble strips there before, but if you had rumble strips there before,
didn't.
that's well, okay. In which case that might be an enhancement, which we'll have to wait until the sun comes out a little, I think.
You know what we're like, David? We want the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, yes.
Yeah. No, yesterday.
And to that end, I rather cheekily asked the Director of Highways if there was any possibility that a parish council could put in their own road schemes and pay for it themselves. But the response was sort of predictable, really. And you didn't really want to spend £200,000 or £300,000 on a road scheme anyway. But I mean, I just thought I needed to say that.
Okay. Have we got any other questions for David while he's here?
Have you got any other questions for me? Now, Rod is usually capable of dealing with it all. Alistair's looking.
Alistair's hands up.
Alistair.
Yes, Mark, I have said to our friends in Blackford that that part of the territory was in Mark. They have no difficulty with them if they want to get involved. The question of the gateway signs, of course, that's well into Mark because it's on the boundary of the 30-mile-an-hour limit. And we have an approval, and I'm seeking for reconfirmation of that approval to put a SID on the repeat 30-mile-an-hour sign as you come in from Mark before you go down the hill. So if they want to get involved with that, I think the best thing to do is for me to contact them and really try and work out who's going to do what.
Yeah, because the previous, the one that the police put in was put actually in your patch, which is just your side of the bridge, as it were, because there is a vacant pole which they've been using for them. So we did have a SID there for, I think it was a month actually. But if you can put one coming down the hill, that would be fantastic.
Lovely.
Okay.
Well,
and I'm happy to liaise with Mark as well. I would.
Yes, please, David.
Try and do that. Yeah. Okay. Not a problem.
That's super.
But we will carry on, Chairman, and I will report back next month. Anything you need, just let me know.
Yeah,
okay?
will do. Thanks
very much.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.
As with District Council, there's really not much going on at all. Lots of meetings to be cancelled. I haven't chaired any licensing committees because obviously lots of people can't license their premises because they're not open. So other than charging around like a lunatic and trying to be a teacher at home, I have nothing to report. So we can move on to item number 3 to record any declarations of interest. No, Mr. P?
Yeah.
Oh, Judy, Candy.
I just wanted to say that I have an interest in Coombe Lane because I'm one of the people that lives down it on item 10, but I don't think I have a conflict of interest. Okay, so I would like to speak because I'd obviously know quite a lot about the traffic that comes down it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other declarations of interest?
Not that I'm aware of, Chair.
Don't think so. Great. Move on to item number 4. Minutes of the meeting held on the 16th of December 2020, December 2019. Ooh,
They have been circulated, Chair, and perhaps if everybody's agreement, you could sign them later.
Everyone happy? Yes. Great. I'll sign those whenever you can drop them in. Item number 5, public participation. Right. I think we've got 2 members, haven't we?
3, actually, with Keith as well. Unless Keith wants to observe.
Oh, Keith as well. Right. Who are we kicking off with then? You're in charge, Rod.
Up to you, Chair.
Oh, up to me. Right, Keith. Would you like to start? Are we timing him?
Well, just 3 minutes, please.
Just the 3 minutes if you can. Thank you very much.
No, I've...
Oh, you've muted yourself again. Go for it.
I've nothing to say, thank you. I'm simply observing the meeting.
Great, nice to see you. So
Thank
I
you.
know Vanessa. Vanessa, you've got your 3 minutes, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you for giving me 3 minutes. I shall try and get it done in that time.
You won't get fined, don't worry.
I'm here as Chair of Green Wedmore, and I'd like to give you an update on Worthington Woods. Well, that's the first thing I'd like to talk about very briefly. How well it's gone. All the planting is done now. We hope the wood to be open in springtime. The reason it's not open at the moment is because there's a manhole cover that needs to be changed. Rod's on that.
It's been done. It's been done yesterday, and I paid the bill today.
Fantastic. And there's also, I wondered if we needed to have 2 signs in there quite near to the brook, which shows people that there's a brook there, which brings me on to, I don't know if you have a health and safety person that goes around your playgrounds who would want to just walk around and just do a quick health and safety check. That's not something that's in my sort of remit really. But we do have until the spring, because I've said to people it won't be open until the spring. So maybe somebody could have a little think about that and whether we do need those 2 signs. I know there aren't signs as you walk down the Lurburn, because you know you've got that straight drop down, but it was just a concern I had whether anybody had a thought about that. The safety is obviously really important. Yeah, the plant up day went really well. We've had donations in to buy some timber. My husband's making some benches to go in. The church have donated a seat that they didn't want. And I've got a maintenance plan that has been produced by the Food Forest Project that I need to hand over and discuss with the person who's going to be maintaining that. I don't know who that is at this moment in time, but hopefully nearer to springtime, April, May time, I can meet with that person if we're allowed out and just show them what's required to sort of keep on top of everything. We've also registered the site with a local recording group called Rome, which are recorders on the Avalon Marshes. And we're doing a project about nettles. There's quite a few nettles there. Some will be mowing, some we're going to keep, and we're going to do a project on nettles and their benefit and the insects that they work with. And also I wanted to say a big thank you really for working with us, because it's just really lovely to work with the Parish Council and deliver such a positive project right in the middle of COVID. There was a time when I thought, well, we're probably going to have to keep postponing things, but we managed to get the plant up done. We had correct numbers and all of that. So I'm just really grateful, Green Wedmore, to have the opportunity to work with you guys. And yeah, I just wanted to make that something I really wanted to say, because it's a really lovely thing. And I hope in the years to come, it will be really enjoyed by all sectors of the community. I know next year we're going to be looking at trying to install a bridge so that we can have access from the Lurburn. I think that's really important. But we didn't take that on this time because it's actually quite a large thing to sort out, the crossing of the waterway there. But I hope that next year we could look at that. And my other thing is, it's to do with funds really. Green Wedmore, like lots of other groups this year, have been unable to hold any of our events, and basically we're sort of running out of money. We still have a lot of overheads that we're covering, like website cost and maintenance costs on Terry's Woodland. Was £500 to do lots of different hedging and different things down there. So I have actually set up a crowdfunder in December with an objective to exceed £1,000, and we're up to £450 at the moment. We have lots of other projects that we're dying to do, which cost money, not vast sums at the moment, but you know, we've got a pollinator project that we'd really like to roll out next year or this year, that involves lots of people in the community, butterflies, bees and moths and things like that. And we have other things too. So I was just wondering whether you would be able to consider donating some funds to Green Wedmore. This particular crowdfunder I've set up was partially to thank the Food Forest Project, who very kindly gave hours and hours of their time, hundreds of emails backwards and forwards, all for free. And I would really like to put them in a position where they can then help the next community that may not be quite so well off as ours. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you for everything you've done down there, because it's looking lovely. And I'm sure we'll have a discussion, and I'm sure some money can come your way. But as it's not on our agenda item, we can't discuss it, but we could discuss it maybe at the next one. Correct, Mr. Pring?
That's correct, Chair.
Excellent, jolly good. Getting quite good at this. Right, thanks, Vanessa.
Thank you very much.
Next one, we've got
David Luke, I think.
David Luke from Thiel Village Hall. Good evening, David.
Good evening. Yes, I'm chairman of the Thiel Village Hall Management Committee. And I appreciate this opportunity of presenting to you relating to an application for a grant to help us improve the hall. The Village Hall, the Village Hall is the main social hub of the village now that the Pandora Inn has closed. And it's more vital than ever that the Village Hall can continue to provide that service well into the future. It's used by a number of organisations in the village. The church use it, the flower show use it. We have drama groups, folk clubs, and so on. And that brings in visitors from not only the village, but the wider parish and beyond. But there's been no spend on the Village Hall in the last 10 years or so. Its condition is fairly poor, and it certainly looks very sad compared to other village halls around the district. You may be aware that we have applied for a grant connected to the Climate Change Fund. A fairly large grant, and that application has been put in, and that will provide us with the big improvements that the hall needs to the structure, including solar panels, new windows, a new floor, and that sort of thing. But there are other projects, much smaller projects, which we would like to get on with as well. And what we would like to do is to apply for help in tackling the next project, which involves improving the kitchen and partitioning the hall. We'd like to put up a partition in the hall so that it makes a smaller space when users need a smaller space and saves us heating the whole hall. And with regard to the kitchen, it's poorly ventilated, it's not heated very well. There's black mold on the walls and ceilings, and it needs an awful lot of work on it. We want to lower the ceiling and put in insulation and replace the current air extractor fan with a heat exchange fan. So we've got this list of work that needs doing. Partly, some of it we'll do ourselves. We've got a working party and we're going to clean and paint and do that sort of thing. But there are items on there which does need some spend, which we will need help with. Basically, until we know the result of the climate change grant, because that may impact on the kitchen in terms of things like heating and things, we haven't got an exact figure at the moment, but we have got an application ready to put in. And I just wanted really to give you that background and hope that when the application comes in, you look at it favourably.
Lovely. I'm absolutely sure we will. It would be great to get it in a better state.
Great.
But thank you for joining us, David.
That's all right, pleasure. Thank you very much. Good night.
Brilliant. Good night. Okay, item number 6, matters arising. Blackford road safety issues.
I just wonder if anybody had an update on it. I see Pat Benjamin has submitted some photographs.
Yeah.
Of which I circulated. Apart from Pete, he couldn't see it, but I explained to him what it was all about.
I think we've had some emails. Alistair can explain. Go ahead, Alistair.
Thank you, Polly. Yes, I over just after Christmas, I went over and met George and Jonathan, and we had a walk round both accesses from one from Mark and one from Wedmore, trying to see where gateways might be located. Unfortunately, in some ways, there's no convenient location around where the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit starts, and so they were walking away from the village to find a verge wide enough to put something on, and the photographs that have been passed around indicate that. I'm afraid our county councillor had misled them somewhat, which caused a little bit of tension, where he'd explained to them that we were the authority that could grant permission for them to build this. I was shocked by this because an experience in West Sussex, where we were trying to do the same thing as the West Sussex village, it took us 2 years to get approval because the county council were not at all happy with a gateway which was in a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. So I was pretty sure they wouldn't be too happy about it being in the 60 mile per hour. I asked David if he would, was he absolutely sure about it? And I heard nothing for a while until yesterday, when the new district traffic manager contacted me to say that they do indeed need to give permission for gateway signs. But she added that she was more than willing to help achieve that and recommended a good supplier for signs. So there was some positive in it. So that covers gateways. The mark bit I wasn't aware of until today. But I had made sure that Jonathan and George were aware that in working in Mark Patch, they might have an interest. So that's where we've got to with that. And I'll come back to SIDS when that comes up in a minute.
Thank you, Alistair. Somerset County Council grant application update. Anyone?
Go
Em.
So we were hoping to have heard back about our initial application, which was for the EV chargers and bike repair stand. And as David had kind of hinted at in the December meeting, because the Somerset County Council staff are quite a lot of them are being redeployed, there's basically a freeze on the funding, and they're not making any decisions yet. They were going to wait until all the second tranche of applications had come in. So I don't think they'll even be making any decisions until, I don't know, February, March time maybe. But we did get the application in for a feasibility study for a cycle path. Cycle path, it sounds like I'm saying psychopath. And I'm not sure, Sean, do you know if the Thiel application was made in good time as well? I wasn't so involved with that one.
I thought you were doing that for me, Emily. Sorry. No, it's all done. It's all in. Yes, we got it in within 3 days. There was a bit of confusion about. Thank you very much for sending me a link that worked, because the other ones just didn't work. And what was interesting was the downloadable printed version, which Phil filled in, was completely different to the online one. There was so many different, so we had to redo it. But it's in time, and we got a reference number, so that's good.
It's so obvious they don't really want anyone to have the money, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
See how really difficult we can make this.
Yes.
And they'll all pull their hair out and then decide, oh, let's not bother. Seems to be the way. Brilliant, thank you. And C is speed awareness update.
Okay, had some positive move forward. Basically, having looked at the stuff we've done before, I decided that I would recast our future action as a phase 2 of the speed awareness campaign, and drew up a paper which indicated the sites that were approved by my predecessor, and added in the extra ones that we had discussed at a council meeting at the end of last year. I posted that, or sorry, I emailed that off early this afternoon, and to my surprise had a call back from the new district traffic manager.
No, county council.
Pardon?
County council, not district. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, she's the district. She covers the traffic district of part of Sagemore and part of Mendip. Anyway, she had skimmed it very quickly and was giving me some helpful tips on how we should take this forward. It was very friendly and encouraging conversation, so I have some hope that this will now progress forward. She needs to approve everything, including looking at the sites that were approved 2 or 3 years ago, just to be sure that conditions haven't changed, and she will look at the new sites. We talked quite a bit about these SID devices, and she's given me some guidance on when we come to purchase some, what we'll need. So I'm quite encouraged by her reaction and offer of help to get us there. One thing, Rod, I think I passed you a long time ago now, a legal document called a Memorandum of Understanding. They will need that signed, so I'll dig it out and fill in whatever we need to fill in, and then I'll pass it to you, perhaps, to sign off.
Thanks, Dave.
The Memorandum of Understanding merely says that everything we do is our responsibility and they're not paying for anything. So it's just a fail-safe thing for them. The only thing that concerns me by what was said by David about Mark is that I have sought approval for the site that is on the brow of the hill as you enter Blackford from Mark, which is in Mark. That was in the earlier submission. I'm quite happy to move that one down onto Poolbridge Road if Mark are going to cover that bit at the top of the hill. I think the top of the hill is the best place for it. They're wanting to cover it, then that's fine. And if they don't want to do it, then obviously we can do it. But so that's where we are at the moment.
Brilliant. Thank you. Has anyone got any questions for Alistair? Sean?
David Curley, did you get the email of the 3 pictures I sent of the 3 poles on approaching Wedmore from Wells, which you asked me for?
Yes, I did, but we've already got an approved location, right, Alistair?
Yeah, we've got two. There's one in Field itself, and one as you enter Wedmore at the bottom of the hill as you come up towards the Coombe Lane. So those 2 were approved, and I put those forward again as we'd agreed that at the previous meeting.
What's the location of the one in Field?
I'll have to get back to you on that. I can't describe it precisely in terms that probably you as a local would know, but I'll email it to you.
Okay, just and the other 2 field councillors, that would be great. Yeah.
Cool. Lovely. Thank you. Item number 7, financial matters.
Chair, just to report that all the bills have been paid this month. The books have been audited by the 2 councillors and everything's in order.
Brilliant. Thank you. Item number 8, to consider a suitable recipient of the Henry Butt Award.
I just put this on because this time of the year, and for those of you who are newer to the council, the village presents a Henry Butt Trophy every year, which is a massive great silver cup, well not silver, massive great cup, to somebody who's been done a lot of community work during the previous year. And it's also can be to a group of people. It cannot be to councillors or to the parish clerk. But I would ask you to get your thinking caps on, please, because we normally decide in April who's going to receive this cup for the year. Last year it was Bob Selwood, and in the past it's been the Tuesday Club and various things. So just need to think, if you can think of anybody who might be nominated. I'll be putting an advert in the Isle of Wedmore News as well. But April, we have to make a decision because we present the trophy at the annual parish assembly in May, which is normally held in the Masonic Hall in Wedmore. So just think about it. That's why I put on the agenda, Chair.
Okay, keep it in your minds, people. If you've got any ideas, let Rod know. That'd be great. Thank you. Item number 9, to consider co-opting a councillor for the Blackford Board.
Yeah, Chair, I had an application from Jonathan Newton, who, as Alistair said, was at our last meeting and talking about the Blackford Road safety issues. And I circulated his CV, which I thought was quite impressive. I had another application came through a fortnight ago from somebody, but I think he might have been put up to it. Anyway, I sent him an application form with a date of last Monday week, and he hasn't come back to me. So we have one applicant for Blackford, Jonathan Newton, and if he is accepted, I know Pete Tenney wants to say something. If he is accepted, that will bring the council up full strength for the first time in almost 2 years.
Great. Pete?
Well, I did go to see Jonathan, but he wasn't there, and I went another time and there was no one there.
He saw you coming.
Sorry?
He saw you coming.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're probably right. But I did see his wife. And, you know, I just explained to her that I would be prepared to, or am prepared, or, you know, be delighted to propose him as a member. Although I have very little knowledge of him personally. Not having a pub in the village anymore. Well, you know what I mean. There's not much communal thing to meet. But apparently he's very keen to do it. The only thing he was slightly worried about, according to his wife, was that he does have lots of other commitments. I think that's business commitments. But I mean, I've heard nothing back from him, and to be honest, today I've been on the vaccination run. I took my older sister-in-law, and tomorrow we're going, and I've just not got round, and I'm remiss of me, but I've not made another contact with him. But I still would be, very pleased to propose that he be co-opted onto this. And but as I said, because there's so little goes on in the village, I haven't had a chance to meet the man.
I'd happily second that, and because I had a really good chat with him before Christmas, actually, and I kind of explained about the committees and stuff, and he is very keen. I also, I understand again his frustrations. I think he'd very much like to get involved with the traffic, obviously, as he is already, the calming it down in Blackford, and it would be lovely to hand a lot of it over to him. But I think he potentially is another one who thinks if we just chuck money at the issues, they will get done immediately. So he'll learn that it's frustrating, like lots of people do. Emily.
No, I was just going to say I'd be happy. I know Jonathan. His son is in my daughter's class at school, and obviously he's in the village. I think he'd be a really great member of the council. I'd be very happy to second or anything.
Super.
Good on, Emily.
So I think generally we're all quite happy about that.
Hands up.
Hands up.
Thank you. I'll write to you tomorrow, Chair.
Super, thank you. That's great. Got a full house. Item number 10, to consider using SIL money to upgrade part of Coombe Lane. Joe.
I didn't want to start this off, perhaps Judy.
Well, I just got Joe.
I just wanted to, we've had SIL money now for a little while. I've got a few, the Coombe Lane is on the list of projects for SIL. There are some concerns I know that have come through from parishioners regarding the verges, which kind of ties in with the insect stuff that we've talked about before from the Green Group. However, you know, there is a lot of cars that go down there, both to the Scout Hut and to the allotments. It is used heavily. We have had incidents with the allotmenteers having issues with the cars, more than one of them, not just, you know, one person, but more than one of them have complained about the resurfacing we did last time when we put the speed bumps in. I'm not saying that we should take the speed bumps out, but I'm just sort of suggesting that we kind of make that whole area, or make a contribution to making that whole area easier to use. I also have concerns that we have talked in the past about that lane being resurfaced, and people have said, oh, we could potentially use any money we get from the development if that planning comes off on the corner. Now, we've opposed that planning as a parish council, so I don't actually think we should be talking in that way. It gives parishioners the idea that actually we can be manipulated by money, which is not what we can be. So I would like to propose using existing SIL money to continue to not support that development and get the lane resurfaced.
Can I just say, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chairman?
Oh, yes, you may.
No, sorry, Polly.
It's quite all right.
But you had an email today from one of the residents of the Coombe Lane?
Yeah.
Saying that it's private property, basically.
It's not.
Well,
an unadopted highway, just like the one by Blackford Village Hall is.
And Wedmore Village Hall.
And Wedmore Village Hall. It's an unadopted highway.
Well, only I live down a lane, and you know we when I say I haven't got a problem, we've got nothing, but it is belongs to the people either side of it in our case, and I wondered if the same thing, because it's quite a serious letter, isn't it? If you read it.
What? Is that the one from the Tuckers?
It's two letters.
No?
Yeah.
I mean, it's from one of the residents, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Mrs. Tucker.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, she wants it done, but they want it kind of done to their specification, which is fine. We can have conversations with them. However, you know, the parish council own quite a lot of the land down there too.
No,
Judy?
I think the worry is about the edges of the lane, because it's a single track lane now, and that being eroded and people driving off onto the verges and making a mess. Now, I had a walk down there today, and the bits that have been done properly, there's two patches, one at either end, that were done really well last time. And I looked at the edges and they're just fine. You know, there's a bit of mud on the edge. They're not giving way. I don't really see what the problem is. You just resurface it at the width it is.
Yeah, and if there was an issue, put a load of big stones down there.
Well, you know, I don't know what you're going to do to change the width of the lane. The fact is that it's not really the speed bumps, it's the potholes. The potholes are huge, and it's a very difficult lane to drive down. And it's not the residents of the lane that are complaining about it. It is the people that use the allotments are complaining that they're damaging their cars.
And the
That's the main thing.
Well, I did have that conversation with Louis, which I copied a couple of you into today. I emailed him again, the guy I speak to from Acorn, because when I talk to him, I'm trying to get him to do the path at the allotments, because they promised to level that out for us. And I want them to get it done before the spring, before people start using it again. But when I had that conversation with him, I said it'd be good PR for you if you could, if you've got any hardcore or anything left over, that you could come and fill in all the potholes and sort this lane out. And he agreed that would be a very good thing to do, as long as the local press got involved, and they looked amazing for doing it. So,
right.
We've got some backup. I've got Sean and then Alistair.
Yeah, I've driven down there a couple of times. I mean, the speed bumps there are absolutely brutal, and I don't know if they actually conform to a specification. They're sort of almost U-shaped concrete, and you do go up and down and thump it. I mean, the normal speed bumps don't tend to cause you to judder like that. So, I mean, if they were put in without a specification, then that might be considering. potholes can often be caused by large tractors. There's a friend of mine lives down a road very similar to that over in Nunney, and it's not the cars that do it so much as the tractors that seem to sort of, when it's wet, the stones inside a pothole just get shoved away quicker by large tractors. So I don't know how many agricultural vehicles go up and down there.
There's all sorts, though. It's kind of oil delivery lorries, stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, so it might be sort of pothole considerations to keep the cost down. The other thing, there was 2 letters today, and one of them was talking about possibly using curbstones and stuff like that to stop cars going up on the banks. I mean, Judy, there's not much mud there today because I presume that there's just not many cars going down there at the moment.
There's loads of cars going down there.
Well, I don't know that. That's why I was asking. I thought, well, if the Scout Hut was shut and things like that, maybe I don't know. Just ask.
Yeah, well, the lane is in a very bad state, and there has not been the amount of traffic that there normally is if the Scout Hut was being used. And the reason there's speed bumps is because people go up and down it too fast. It's an attempt to slow people down, and they're not perfect speed bumps, but the ones that I wanted to put in, which are just a rubber strip, we weren't able to put in because you have to fix them onto tarmac, and there isn't tarmac there. It's not a metalled road. So the ideal is to tarmac and then put a proper regulation speed bump in. But if we don't slow people down, they will tear up the surface even quicker. People go down with 4x4s.
Can 2 cars pass one another on that section between the road? So they have to go one at a time.
They have to wait. They have to wait at either end. They have to be
that's
patient.
what I read in the letter. I mean, I don't know much about it, but I read in the letter.
I'll come down and have a look, and I'll tell you about it.
Thanks.
Alistair?
I have a lot of concern about this in terms of ongoing costs into the future. The normal thing with an unadopted highway is that the people who live adjacent to get clubbed together and would do whatever surfacing they want, and then it would then still remain their responsibility. I think if the council were to lead a scheme, it would mean an ongoing liability every time somebody said, oh, it's a bit of a problem, that we'd end up having to go and effect further repair.
Well, the problem with that, though, is unfortunately, there are some residents down there, but not many, but the vast majority of users of that are people who use either the allotments or the Scout Hut for parties or the Scouts and stuff. So it's parents, and they're not going to contribute, and the Parish Council own quite a lot of the land too. So all there's hands going up all over the place. But so we can't just ask the landowners to pay for it because they're not the only ones who use it. It's
well, if you let me finish, the point I'm trying to make is that we shouldn't be the body that is taking on future responsibility, and that needs to be done some carefully. And thinking of Manor Lane, my understanding there was that the owners did come together. They did come to the village hall and ask for a contribution. I certainly think it's entirely right that for the parish to make a contribution to a scheme, but not to own the scheme.
No, you see, and the thing with Manor Lane is, though, it is pretty much all residential. So the only people going up and down Manor Lane are the people who live there. So that's where we've got a bit of an issue. It's quite different. I've got Joe, and then I've got Jackie, and then David Cox.
Well, it is the point that, as you've said, Polly, quite a lot of that land is owned by the Parish Council. And so we are a major landowner and therefore resident, therefore we can lead it as one of the residents. We just don't happen to be a private one person or one family resident. We happen to be a body, but we own a fair proportion of that space. So I think we're
going to sort it. But this has been going on for too years, I'm afraid. As long as I've been on the council. Jackie, and then David Cox.
What was the position when they redone the road up by the village hall at Blackford then? Who paid for that?
So Blackford Village Hall paid for the major part of the leading up as far as the end of the far end of the village hall, because it stops from the Sexes school end. That's not been done at all. but I know I'm a bringer of doom, but as I said, we've lived down this lane now. I've lived here for over 50 years, and we still haven't resolved it, because basically it is generally quoted to us that the person who owns the land each side, and we are not the major landowners down that lane, are we? The strip is only the bit across the bottom of the allotments, isn't it? We don't own Tucker's land. We don't own all those bungalow lands. It's so difficult to get people to contribute, and it does cost. We've had several, estimates here. We're trying to get Bruton Estate, because they own hundreds of acres of land down it. It is, as I said, I know it sounds a bit gloomy, but it is.
It's not gloomy, Pete, but the difference is that you are residents only using your lane. This lane gets used by residents, but not.
No.
Yeah, but the same applies to
people just going to the houses.
The same applies to Blackford, though, doesn't it? I'm not saying that we shouldn't make any contribution, because I fully take on board what Joe says, but we also have to bear in mind we don't want to create a precedent and have other people come to the council and say, well, you paid for that, why shouldn't you then pay for this? Because as you say, the residents of Manor Lane clubbed together and paid for all that. It's just a question of, if we are going to make a contribution, fully get it out there that we're making a contribution as landowners, not necessarily as the council making a donation.
Yeah,
I think that's absolutely right, because it's you get, and that is basically what happened with the village hall at the end, because the reconstruction of it only doesn't go past the village hall. It's just, we did it from the bottom end, the Sex's Arms end, but it still causes, it's laneways and byways, but yeah, they're a very tricky thing, because once you're
I've got David Cox next, and then Judy.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so I just had a couple of points and questions really. I suppose we're talking about funding something, but I have no idea of how much this is going to be. So are we talking £10 or £10 million? I don't know. And I suppose just to the point that was just made there, and I think it's, how much is the council paying for here as a percentage? Just information to make a decision, because I haven't got anything in front of me that allows me to make that decision. The point I was going to make, and second to that is how much of this comes out. This is land for an allotment and the scout hut. Therefore, how much of that is coming from the allotment and the scout hut versus how much is coming from SIL money? Because the point I was going to make under item 12 was actually for us as a council to have a prioritisation meeting and discuss how we might want to spend SIL money, because as you say, we have got it there. There are lots of things we want to do. There's lots of things people have asked us today to do, but actually to prioritise, and this is probably one of them. But let's say this uses 100% of our SIL money. Because I don't know what the number is, and I don't know how, what we're talking about. Is that the right thing to do? So if we vote on it today, I'm voting on a blank check.
No.
Not knowing how much I've got in my bank account.
Yeah, don't worry.
I support the premise. I'm just not sure I don't have enough information, basically. So that's kind of where I am.
That's fine. I've got Judy and then Alistair, and then I'd like to say something.
Okay, what I would like to say is that the scout hut and the allotments are about a third of the way down Coombe Lane. And that is the only bit that we're proposing that the Parish Council chips in with. There's an awful lot of Coombe Lane, which only 2 residents live down beyond, and that is kept by us the residents. We do the whole of that. So we're only asking you to look at the bit down to the allotments, which is the bit that people use who are going to Parish Council property. And I think that's something that should be pointed out. It's a long lane, and we're only asking you to do one end of it.
Alistair?
I'd just like to raise a point about SIL. Just to remind everybody, this is given to us through development to address the problems created by the housing development. I would question whether this particular thing can be attributed to the increased development that we're suffering here. As Joe mentioned, we have produced a list of projects. The number one, the neighbourhood plan charted what people were saying during the consultation on all that housing development. And I don't recall a single person mentioning this particular one. So it does seem hard to see how this could be a SIL project when there are other things that the public said they wanted, which we haven't yet addressed.
Well, potentially, you know, if we can't all agree on it coming out of the SIL pot, then, you know, as one of the landowners, I believe the parish council, we've got some money. Maybe we have to cough up a bit, and so do the other residents living along there. You know, I don't know how we're going to rectify it, but it really needs sorting. And the other thing, going back to the SIL, there is a wish list somewhere, isn't there, that I think Joe and Alistair and a team of you got together. And what we need to really do, which I know was very much Neil Ellis's, you know, something he was really keen on, is, you know, we wanted to work on a way forward to do some projects to look into the future, so that, you know, when he went and did his chairmanship, and then whoever, and the next chairman, we do those projects, we tick them off as we go. Because so often with the parish council, and this is, I'm getting really frustrated about, we're going round and round in circles, and we've got to achieve stuff. So let's get that wish list on the wall in the parish council room, on a great big poster. These are the things we're going to achieve in the next 6 years. Let's get them done and start ticking them off, because otherwise, you know, we're all going to be going around in circles, and I don't want the next chair to come along and then go, well, I don't want to do that, actually, I want to do this. So we need to, all of us, agree something, and get it done in black and white, and start achieving some stuff, because I'm personally being driven nuts. So
should we have a meeting dedicated to just that?
I think that's a fabulous idea. We'll have a separate Zoom.
Can I propose that? It's actually my item 12.
So wait for David to
get raised, but I'm really happy to kind of facilitate and maybe chair that. I think we don't need to have it as a public meeting. We can have a non-chaired meeting, if you like, and just really get our thoughts and feelings out on the table, and then bring it back to committee for consultation or and a vote. But I'm happy to facilitate that.
I think that's brilliant, David. I think this is a year we shake this up. We get our priority.
We've got neighbourhood plan. We've got SIL money. We've got the climate change emergency that we declared. We've got all these different things. Let's get them all in a pot and work out what we're prioritising and go from there.
Exactly, and start working through them for the future.
And I would put it on the website, not the wall, because none of us are in the building. But yeah,
that's fantastic. Okay, well we'll sort a date out that we can all hopefully join in on. I feel a bit happier now. Brilliant. So everyone okay with that? We'll do a wish list. I think Coombe Lane will come back up again, but we really need to tackle these things.
Glenys is waving.
Pardon, sir?
Glenys.
Glenys is waving. Hello, Glenys.
Yeah. Hi there. Can I just say that I'm conscious that Alistair's done so much work with this SIL. Should he not be liaison with David? Because, I mean, Alistair's got a lot of information about SIL, and he's got a lot of projects.
Oh, totally. I don't think this is just SIL.
I know. I don't want Alistair to feel I'm being pushed.
No. This isn't just about the SIL money. I think we need where is this parish council going?
Okay.
What you know, we've got the SIL. They've done that great work. So we kind of have got a rough idea what we're going to spend the SIL on. But we have got other funds. There are other ways of getting funds. So we just need to have a list of what we really need to prioritise in our community.
And I think for me, I'm just saying that I will write things down and provide a structure. I'm not proposing to own the kind of input everyone.
Yeah. No, Alistair's still the king of SIL.
Absolutely, yeah.
It would be useful though if this Coombe Lane proposal were to be discussed in any serious way. Then we need to know, as has already been said, is it £5,000, 50,000, or £500,000? I mean, not £500,000. But
I don't think we're paving it in gold.
I think it's 10.
we do need a.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We need some estimates. We need a rough idea. Exactly. So we'll take the projects on. Sean.
Just it would have to be an approved installer because it meets the road, and it can't just be Tucker's. They have to be from a list from Sedgemoor, and the prices are very different when you deal with those guys when they have to be approved.
So I don't think Sedgemoor would be doing it.
No, Sedgemoor provide a list of approved contractors if a road meets the main road. I know this from personal experience. You can't use a normal builder.
Has that happened before?
Well, I'm just telling you what.
No, I'm just asking Judy what happened.
All right.
The bit that meets the road has already been done, and it was done by an approved contractor.
Yeah, of course. So we're already there.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Right. Well done, everyone. Cracking on. So item number 12, issues and questions raised by councillors.
Good neighbour scheme, Chair.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Item number 11. Well, that's my bit.
Yeah.
Good neighbours scheme. Yes, so this is Johnny Torrance Spence from Allington.
Could you start again? Because that was a bit...
Oh, yeah, good. Is your hearing aid playing
Yeah,
up?
kind of.
Okay. Johnny Torrance Spence from Allington is setting up, or is in the process of setting up the Good Neighbourhood Scheme, which is kind of a follow-on from the COVID kind of action groups, and it's sort of long-term being able to
frozen
look after whether it be people or disabled people, or can you not hear me, Rod?
No, I can now.
Can anyone hear me?
No, you can now.
You just froze for a moment.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
So basically, his Good Neighbour Scheme is about carrying on, once we're done with COVID, looking after our neighbours and taking them to hospital appointments. So getting volunteers to volunteer, obviously. Some will have to do a DBS a check and all those sorts of things, which cost money, so it needs some sort of funding. But we've already got a fantastic, huge list on our COVID action group anyway locally. So I think the point was an email was going to be sent to all who would like to volunteer. So it's a great scheme. And we had a meeting with James Heapy, a few of us, a Zoom call, a couple of weeks ago, and he just wanted to know what we'd all been up to and doing. And how the volunteering had worked. So Johnny Torrance Spence, we then got him on it as well, so he could talk to James about this, and how it's going to get funded, and whether we as a PC can contribute something towards the people to having to do pay for the DBS checks and stuff. So it's just a way of carrying on this goodwill into the future. It's a really good scheme. So that was it, really. I don't know whether anybody else knows about it, but it's happening, and hopefully all our lovely volunteers, lots of them will want to sign up to it. So that was it, really. Sean?
Unless things have changed, if you're a volunteer, DBSs they don't charge for them if you're a volunteer.
Really?
Yes. In the past, volunteers didn't have to pay for DBSs, but that was 3 or 4 years ago. Maybe it's changed now.
I think you have to pay for DBSs, or someone does. They're not free.
Not if you're volunteering.
No,
not in the past.
No, I'll tell you, even if you volunteer, they still charge.
Johnny had been through it quite thoroughly, and that was the main concern. But
it's another change then,
yeah. It's always changing. It's never stops. So that was it, really, just to fill you in on that a bit if you hadn't heard about it. But I think it's a lovely thing. Item number 12, issues and questions raised by councillors. Right.
You want to go around the table?
Yeah, I'll go around the table. David, you got any more to add to you? David Cox? No, brilliant. Isabel? No. Emily?
Yes, I've got a couple of things, so I'll be as quick as I can. So that's great, David's idea to prioritise things that we want to spend money on. I think as well we need to be quite mindful of the fact that we have signed our Green Charter, and we need to think about projects that we want to work on that will kind of back that up. And with that in mind, I'm quite happy to work with Vanessa, because I guess we need to put on the agenda for next month, if Green Wedmore want to apply for some funds, they need to fill out the grant form. That's correct, is it?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll get in touch with Vanessa about that. And then the other thing on grants was I've been approached by David Sisson about the Blackford Church, and the fact that they've had planning permission to improve the entrance so that it's safer. And I think he's been told that, I think, Rod, this is right, that we're not allowed to provide grants to places of worship.
That is correct. If you look on the SALC website, you'll find a document. There's 4 pages telling you why you cannot make grants to places of worship. We can support burial yards and churchyards, which is what we do, but we can't provide for churches or the grounds.
Okay.
It's not been tested by law. It's just an observation, but it's come from our national association.
Fine. We need to change our grant notes then, because on the website there's a tick by places of worship rather than a cross.
But yeah, it changed in 1894.
Okay, so we've got that wrong on our website. We need. That's what I'm
All
saying.
right, yeah, okay, Emily, thanks.
Because it says it's got a tick next.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. We'll change it.
Okay. And then the other thing was, Babs, do you want to talk about the project that we've been doing with the school? Because whilst...
Can she do that when I get to her?
Yeah, okay. As long as we bring that up, because obviously, while the cycle path is all being delayed, we're trying to work on other things and raise awareness and safety.
Yeah, I saw that through the school website, so that's cool. Judy, any issues? Issues and questions?
No issues, but I did. I don't know if anybody else saw it, but as we drove through Wedmore on Thursday night last week, we saw 2 cars clamped in Wedmore.
Oh, good.
Did anybody see that?
Yeah. No tax, I expect.
Oh, I thought it was parking.
No, and I saw a third one which had a big sticker on it saying this vehicle is not taxed.
No tax.
Gosh. Oh, well, very enlightening. Thank you.
Sue, any issues? No. Glenys, any issues? Alistair?
I'm not sure this is the right place to report it, but I will press on. Rod gave me some information about the Holdenhurst development and the fact that they need to connect to the public sewer, and that means crossing some of our land. For those that know the site, the sewer line will leave the site closest point to our car park, and they'll come across the edge of the Western Power site where there are all the transformers and things, and emerge on the entrance to our car park close to the barrier. They will then cross our access road and join the new pipe as it passes under the parking bays close to the where the barrier is. There's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo in all the literature, but as far as I could make out, our job was really to understand that they were doing this and we wouldn't be responsible for anything other than allowing them access to our land and allowing them to do maintenance should it ever be required. So we've had that discussion with the agents for the Holdenhurst development, Blue Cedar, and they've agreed to do the diversion signs because the access road will be closed for their estimate is 4 weeks, and they estimate that they will do that in May/June. The other access is obviously unaffected, and so the car park will still be usable. The only thing that I can report also is that we've agreed a price of £3,500 for the granting of that easement, which is cash in the bank for things that we might do in the future. And the other thing, it seemed to me a good idea if we could make a note to put in the Wedmore News that this 4-week closure is likely to happen in May or June, just so that people are aware of it. The diversion signs will be up, but at least if they're aware of it beforehand, they'll know they can go around to the other entrance and go in the car park that way.
Good point. Thanks for all you've done, Alistair, on that.
Yeah, great. That's a good point. We must let people know. Joe, any issues?
No issues, but I just wanted to know how the pollarding was going down down behind Worthington Close.
Hasn't started yet, but we've got a contractor sorted.
Lovely, thank you.
We chose someone because we've got 2 quotes. One was slightly more expensive than the other, but it took one of them took so long to get back to me, and he got back to me 2 days ago. So we've given the job someone else. So
okay,
being done in February.
February. Okay, I'll let the resident know. Thank you.
Babs.
Yeah, just to follow on for Emily, we have been talking to the Hugh Sexy's middle school about how many children cycle and things like that. And their art department, because it's going to take so long, their art department are currently running a competition for the children of all year groups to design a road sign to go up around the school to try and remind drivers of speed limits and also other road users like horses and cyclists and things. The closing date is the end of January, and we hope to have some signs in February to put up to try and slow people down and to make people aware that there are children using the roads as well.
Brilliant. That's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
Emily?
Was there something else?
Sorry, no, I was just going to ask though, if we want to pay for these signs, how do we go about asking for some money from the Parish Council to pay for the signs?
Rodney?
I have no idea.
Okay, so we put it on the agenda and we vote whether we'd like to donate some money. I don't think we can put it as a grant because it's a, it's
not a thing. I mean, yeah.
No, I think we'll put it on the agenda for next month again and discuss, if you've got some figures for us, then we can discuss whether we would, how much we'll contribute.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's okay. Nandin, any issues?
No.
No. Brilliant. Sean, any issues?
No.
Brilliant. Jackie?
No.
Brilliant. David?
Yes.
Oh.
Sorry to break the chain. Now, I was approached by somebody today about the perpetual water leak at the corner of Glanville and Church Road, and they were just wondering if there's any pressure that we could bring with Bristol Water or whoever to try to get this resolved one way or the other. I mean, that's
David Huxtable, pressure him.
Okay.
It's really the thing to do. I think that's the county councillor and highways.
Church Street.
Church Street, Glanville Road. It's still leaking. There's still water. I don't know where it's coming from this time.
It was pouring out the middle of the road for 6 months last year. And it's been pouring out that corner now for a couple of months, and very close to the.
And they'll all deny knowledge of it. Wessex Water or whoever will say it's not us, and highways will say it's not them, and but that's put pressure on David Huxtable, really. Pete, any issues?
No, just because I sort of missed it. When they're going to close off the car park or part of it or the entrance, which entrance are they talking about? Down in Lurburn or from the main road?
Lurburn, May and June.
Yeah, but which entrance is going to be closed off?
The Lurburn entrance, where the barrier is.
The Lurburn entrance.
Yeah.
By Worthington Close.
Yeah, Worthington Close.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You still come in from Cheddar Road.
Yeah, but it'll be no, that's all right. Just so I know, that's all right.
I have one issue someone approached me about, and that was drug dealing outside the Swan at sort of midnight, 1 o'clock, blaring their music. It's not very subtle about it, and apparently some youth walking off in a hoodie up the road. I don't know. Anyway, I've reported it to one of our local coppers, and hopefully we'll catch them as well. Joe?
Just sorry, we keep going back to the same thing in the car park. Can we be kept in contact in terms of with my hat on from the bus? because we'll just want to make sure that whilst the bus isn't, community bus currently isn't going out because service runs are restricted because of lockdown, the bus is going out under the Good Neighbourhood Plan and scheme. It's helping take people to appointments. So hopefully by May and June, we'll be back on our service runs, but our drivers will need to be kept informed of how to access and the difficulties, anything changes in the car park.
It will be signed, Joe, and the only access in and out will be from Cheddar Road.
Yeah, I know. When we did this before, because I remember voting on something exactly the same before, a couple of years back, and there was an agreement about signs, and the drivers would check that the signs were in place. And yeah, we took this whole thing through about 2 years ago. Well, about that, just under. I haven't been on 2 years.
Yeah, we can ask them to let us know, but
yeah, thank you.
If we get that information, we can pass it on.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Cool. Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. Right, correspondence, item number 13.
Nothing on that. All been circulated.
Okay. Item 14, committees. Cemetery.
Glenys.
Yeah.
Oh.
We usually have a cemetery meeting at this time of year where we all meet out at the cemetery, but I think we'll defer it until maybe March, April time, if that's okay. But there will be a meeting, but it'll be in a few months' time when we can go out again.
Right. Thank you. Facilities and allotments.
All the rents have come in, so we're all paid now, which is good.
Jolly good.
The hedges have been cut, and the contractor is coming back to do a bit more work on the inside boundary where the shrubs have started growing back in. He had to come back with a different machine, so he's going to come back and do that. But all the hedges have been cut.
Great.
I think we have one free as well. If anybody knows, if anybody wants one.
Okay. Finance and general purposes.
No, nothing.
No, nothing there. Highways, car park and brook. Oh no, sorry, housing. Nothing on housing.
No.
Is there? No, there isn't.
Yes, can I speak?
On housing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something from Green Wedmore about housing. They produced a document to emphasise what can be done in relation to energy efficiency for new properties and contributing to a planning application. I think it's chiefly because some people are objecting to stuff which is beyond the Sedgemoor's and the County Council's remit. So you look a bit silly commenting on stuff which has no bearing on a planning application. So it's just sort of a ready reckoner to help people focus on what can be done and what can't be done.
Okay. Lovely, thank you. Highways, car park and brook.
Thank you. Yeah, we are due a meeting, but in view of what's been said earlier about SIL funding, the transport strategy in the neighbourhood plan had a whole list of suggestions. I think what I might do before we hold a meeting is to do a survey of highway committee members, just to try and get a flavour of which ones we think we might like to support. We obviously can't do them all. To see whether a clear favourite comes up, which we can then put into the discussion that was just came up earlier about what to do with the SIL money.
Okay, thank you. Planning?
Meeting next week, Chairman.
Anything else soon? No, just a meeting next week. Great. Look forward to that. Footpaths and green issues. Sean, anything?
There is a climate trail being developed that is used in conjunction with a app on your phone. Somerset, I think part of the funding is from Somerset Wildlife Trust. There is another group, can't remember it, and they're doing a climate trail in Wedmore, Langport, and might be Somerton. And there's a lot of development going on there. They've identified a route which leaves from Worthington Woods and goes up to the top of the golf course and then back down again, which will be advertised as and when and only after involvement with the Rights of Way team, which Chris East is looking at to make sure that they're given the right gates by Somerset and to be put in. So the right's a way of looking at that, and it's quite a fillip for the village to have a trail for tourists and locals that go up and around and back, and it avoids roads. It's a bit golfy. Goes
and avoid golf balls in the face.
Yes, they won't get run over, but they might get hit by a golf ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an initiative Somerset-wide.
Great, thank you. Reports from representatives on committees. Ida Wedmore News.
Yeah, that's me again. Yeah, the magazine is going to be published. It's going to be late again this month. They got problems with the printing. I don't know what's going on, but I won't get it until about the 29th of January. So I won't get it out to the local distributors until about next day, 1st of February, something like that. So the magazine is going to be slightly late. I'm just hoping that the kids are going to, take it on and do it with this COVID. I shall phone every parent of the children that's doing it to see if they are prepared. If not, I shall have to figure out other ways of doing it. So that's that. And we're looking for a new treasurer. John Rook's been our treasurer for about 10 years, and he wants to finish in July. So we're looking for a treasurer for the Isle of Wedmore News. If anybody wants to come and join us, we'd love to see them. Or if you know of anybody who might be interested or whatever. Okay.
Just a thought, Glenys, if you need some people to deliver, they're again on our COVID thing. I know it's not COVID, well, it is sort of COVID related because you're having issues with the Isle of Wedmore News because of COVID. So I'm sure we might be able to put out a plea and find some volunteers if you get caught short with
when I've made my phone calls, which will be.
So let me know.
Week, I'll let people know. Okay.
Play areas. We've got a meeting tomorrow night. Oh.
Sorry, I missed that one.
Just want to say about the Isle of Wedmore News, the shops that are shut in the village that normally have them, obviously they don't want them because they have them. Look at my shop. I went in and got them and distributed them round to people who were open. Yeah. So because they still delivered them.
Okay.
Well, what's happening is some of the ones that we're not delivering to the shops, there's people moved into the new developments. So at the moment, there's some going to the new developments. We're using most of them.
Good.
Play areas, we've got a meeting tomorrow night. So that's that. Salk.
Okay.
Wedmore Playing Fields Management Committee.
Want me to take that, Babs? Okay, nodding yet. Yeah, Babs and I attended a meeting on the 11th of January for the first time. Nothing significant to report from it, but they were very pleased to have us there.
Lovely, good stuff. That's good news. Village halls. So Blackford.
Oh, nothing particular to report, Madam Chairman.
Feel. We know there's lots of feel.
Yeah.
Wedmore.
Nothing to report.
Great, lovely. Twinning. There is none.
No, nothing going on.
Super. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Item number 15, matters of report and items for the next meeting.
No, I got no. Have you got
we'll get anything you want on the agenda for next meeting, get it into
Let me know a week before, please.
Yeah, definitely a week before. And that's it. So thank you all for coming. And yeah, around. And I'll see you next month. Have a lovely evening. Thanks, guys. Bye.